Welcome you, everybody. Get ready for a deep dive today into the world of Vin Jaune.
Vin Jaune.
That's right.
Oh, this is going to be fun.
I am so excited to learn more about this one.
Yeah.
It's this legendary wine from the Jura region in France. We've got some really fascinating excerpts to dig through.
I think you're going to be surprised by what we discover.
Yeah.
Vin Jaune really challenges, I think, our preconceived notions about white wine.
Absolutely, and I think we should just jump right in.
Let's do it.
First and foremost, what is Vin Jaune?
Okay, so Vin Jaune.
I know that it gets its name from its color.
Right.
Yellow wine.
Yeah, but with a French translation there.
But I'm curious, what gives it that golden hue?
So that golden hue comes from the unique oxidative aging process that Vin Jaune undergoes.
Okay.
But here's the key difference.
Okay.
Unlike fortified wines, like sherry,
Mm-hmm.
there's no additional alcohol added.
Interesting.
It's 100% Sauvignon grapes.
Wow.
And that grape is truly the heart of the Vin Jaune story.
Okay, so the grape itself is really what's giving it that color?
It's part of it, yeah.
Okay.
It's part of it.
Fascinating.
Yeah, so we've got the grapes themselves, and then we've got the aging process that we're going to get into.
You mentioned Sauvignon's high acidity.
Yes.
How does that impact the final product, especially with such a long aging process?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Yeah.
Sauvignon's acidity is crucial to Vin Jaune's ability to age gracefully for decades. You see, most white wines don't have the structure to withstand that kind of time.
Right.
But Sauvignon's acidity acts as a backbone, allowing it to develop and evolve over years.
Wow.
Even centuries.
So we're not talking about your typical light, crisp white wine here.
No, not at all.
This sounds much more intense.
Exactly. And that intensity is further shaped by the voile,
Okay.
the layer of yeast that forms naturally during fermentation.
This is fascinating to me.
Yeah, it's really cool.
It's not something that I hear a lot about with other wines.
Right.
So tell me more.
So the wine isn't fully topped off in the barrels,
Okay.
which allows this wall to develop,
Mm-hmm.
protecting the wine from excessive oxidation,
Okay.
while still allowing a very slow, controlled exposure to oxygen.
I see.
It's a really delicate balance.
So you're saying that it needs some oxygen?
It does,
Yes,
but not too much.
Yeah, too much, and it'll become...
It'll go bad.
Yeah, it'll go good.
Okay.
But too little, and it won't develop those unique characteristics.
It's fascinating that this protective layer develops naturally.
Isn't it cool?
Can you elaborate on how the voile specifically impacts the flavor profile of Vin Jaune?
Yeah, so think of it like this.
Okay.
The voile acts as a filter,
Okay.
allowing certain interactions with oxygen while preventing others.
Mm-hmm.
This slow oxidative process allows a whole symphony of flavors to develop.
Wow, a whole symphony of flavors.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're talking baked apple walnuts, curry spice,
Wait,
because saffron notes, curry spice.
you got it.
Now, that's not a flavor I usually associate with white wine.
Yep, it's very unique.
This is making me very curious to try it.
It's really special.
Okay,
Yeah.
You also mentioned a special bottle,
Oh, yes.
the Clavelin.
Flavelin.
What's the story behind that?
So the Clavelin, it's this uniquely shaped bottle
Okay,
used exclusively for Vin Jaune,
interesting.
and it's directly related to the volume loss during aging.
Okay,
Remember, Vin Jaune ages for a minimum of 6 years and 3 months under the foie.
wow, that's a long time.
It is.
6 years and 3 months minimum.
That's the minimum.
Wow.
And during that time, a significant amount of wine evaporates.
Oh, okay.
So the Clavelin ensures that the bottle is adequately filled despite this evaporation.
Interesting. So they take that into account
Yes, very much so.
with the shape of the bottle.
It's a fascinating little detail that speaks to the history and tradition behind this wine.
Speaking of history,
Yeah,
we can't talk about Vin Jaune without mentioning the Jura region itself.
right.
What makes this area so special for cultivating Sauvignon grapes and producing this unique wine?
The Jura terroir is truly special.
Okay,
It's not your typical sunny Mediterranean vineyard.
okay.
Imagine rolling hills and valleys nestled among the Jura Mountains.
I'm picturing it now.
With cold winters, hot summers, and a specific microclimate
Mm-hmm.
that perfectly suits the Sauvignon grape.
Wow.
And then there's the soil,
Ah, yes, the soil.
a complex blend of limestone, marl, and shale.
So each element of the soil contributes a distinct characteristic to the wine.
Precisely.
Okay.
Limestone brings minerality and structure,
Mm.
marl adds richness,
Okay.
and shale provides a touch of spice and complexity.
Wow.
It's this intricate interplay of climate, soil, and grape variety that gives Vin Jaune its unique personality.
It sounds like more than just a place.
It really is.
It's a crucial ingredient.
part of the wine's DNA.
It makes you appreciate how the wine reflects its environment.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's so cool.
Yeah.
Vin Jaune has such a long history with some sources suggesting it might even go back to the Romans.
It's amazing, right?
Yeah.
The history of this wine.
Were they already producing this wine as we know it today?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
It's unlikely they had the exact same process,
Okay.
but the Romans certainly laid the foundation by introducing viticulture to the Jura region.
Right.
They may have even brought the Sauvignon grape itself,
Interesting.
but it was during the Middle Ages that Vin Jaune production really took shape.
That's right. You mentioned monasteries playing a significant role.
They did.
What was it about monastic life that led them to cultivate and refine this particular wine?
Well, monastic life was all about patience, observation, and dedication to a craft. Sound familiar?
It does sound all familiar.
These are the exact qualities required to make Vin Jaune.
Yeah.
It's not a wine that's rushed.
Right.
It demands time, meticulous care,
Yeah.
and a deep understanding of the process.
And wasn't the discovery of the voile itself a happy accident?
That's right.
Possibly by one of these dedicated monks?
Exactly. It's easy to imagine a monk observing this unusual layer of yeast forming on the surface of the wine in a partially filled barrel.
Right.
And instead of discarding it, deciding to taste it.
They were curious.
And boom, the magic of Vin Jaune was revealed.
Wow, so it seems like a combination of Roman influence, monastic dedication, and a bit of serendipity all contributed to the creation of this unique wine.
It really is a fascinating story.
It is.
Of how history, culture, and a deep connection to the land come together to create something truly extraordinary.
And to think that it all starts with a single grape.
It does.
The Sauvignon.
Indeed.
But it's not just about the grape itself.
Right.
It's about the unique environment it thrives in. The centuries-old traditions that have been passed down through generations.
Yes.
And the dedication of the winemakers who continue to produce this remarkable wine.
All of those things are essential.
It really paints a picture.
It does.
This is really piquing my curiosity.
I bet.
Can you tell me more about what to expect when actually tasting Vin Jaune?
Oh, yeah.
What kind of sensory experience should someone be prepared for?
Okay, so buckle up.
I'm ready. I'm ready for the full sensory rundown.
Oh, right.
What kind of flavors and aromas define Vin Jaune?
Well, you've already heard me mention notes of baked apple, walnut, curry spice, and even a hint of saffron.
Right.
But it's more than just individual flavors. It's about how they all wave together.
So it's complex.
Yes.
Not your average white wine.
Definitely not. You can expect a dry wine with a full body.
Okay.
And that characteristic high acidity we talked about,
Right.
the acidity gives it this incredible vibrancy.
Okay.
And keeps it from feeling heavy despite its richness.
Intriguing.
Yeah.
And you mentioned that acidity is key to Vin Jaune's aging potential.
It is.
Decades, even centuries in some cases.
Absolutely. As it ages, those flavors meld and deepen,
Wow.
becoming even more nuanced and layered.
That's incredible, a wine that evolves over centuries.
It really is.
It makes you think about how tastes and preferences have changed throughout history.
I know, right?
Okay, let's say someone is lucky enough to snag a bottle of this liquid gold.
Yeah.
What would you recommend pairing it with?
So Vin Jaune's boldness calls for equally bold pairings.
Okay.
The classic match is with Comté cheese, also from the Jura region.
Okay.
It's a terroir connection that really sings.
Interesting.
They both share this nutty, slightly salty character that complements each other perfectly.
Comté, I've heard of it, but never had the pleasure.
You gotta try it. It's so good.
Now I'm doubly intrigued.
It's delicious.
What about pairings that might surprise people?
Ooh, yeah.
Does Vin Jaune have any unexpected culinary companions?
Definitely. It can handle spice beautifully.
Really?
So consider pairing it with Asian cuisines that have some heat.
Wow, okay.
The oxidative notes also play well with earthy flavors.
Uh-huh.
So dishes featuring mushroom, the truffles, or even foie gras would be fantastic.
Now that you mention it, I can see how those earthy flavors would work well with those oxidative
Yeah.
notes. And foie gras, that's taking decadence to a whole new level.
Oh, absolutely.
Wow.
And believe it or not, Vin Jaune can even shine with certain desserts.
Really?
Think nutty tarts, creme brulee, or anything with a touch of spice like gingerbread.
Gingerbread and Vin Jaune?
It works.
Okay, you've officially blown my mind.
It's a versatile wine.
Yeah, this is a very versatile wine, but given its unique character and production, I imagine it's not exactly easy to find.
You're right. Jura is a small region, and Vin Jaune production is limited.
Right.
This is due to the long aging process and the fact that only Sauvignon grapes are used.
Yeah.
You won't find it on every wine shop shelf.
I figured as much.
Yeah.
Do you have any tips for those looking to find and try this wine?
Sure.
Any producers that stand out?
Absolutely. Domaine de la Pince is a great example of a producer who has been making Vin Jaune for centuries, using traditional methods.
Wow.
Another one is Domaine André et Mireille Tissot, known for their biodynamic practices.
Oh, wow.
Which adds another layer of complexity to the wine.
Biodynamic practices, that's always exciting to see. especially as a wine as rooted in tradition as Vin Jaune.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
But all this talk of limited production, long aging, and special bottles leads to one unavoidable question.
Yeah, I know where you're going with this, right? Vin Jaune can be expensive,
Okay.
but consider all the factors we've discussed. The time, the labor, the limited quantities,
Yeah.
the unique aging process. It all contributes to the value.
Right, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
It sounds like a wine to be savored and appreciated, not just consumed.
Exactly. Vin Jaune is an experience, a journey for the senses.
Right.
It's about understanding the history, the tradition, the terroir.
It's fascinating how some wines go beyond being just a beverage.
I agree.
They embody a sense of place and time.
They really do.
So what's the future looking like for Vin Jaune? Is this a hidden gem that's going to stay hidden, or is it starting to gain recognition on a wider scale?
I think the secret is definitely getting out.
Okay.
There's a growing demand for unique artisanal wines
Yeah.
with a story to tell, and Vin Jaune ticks all those boxes. People are searching for experiences that go beyond the ordinary.
Right.
And this wine offers that in spades.
It's a story that spans centuries, from Roman vineyards to medieval monasteries, accidental discoveries to time-honored techniques.
It's all there.
It's all there in a single glass.
It's amazing.
It is. It truly is.
It's a testament to the resilience of tradition and the enduring power of terroir.
Well said.
But like all wine regions, the Jura faces challenges,
Oh, of course.
such as climate change and evolving consumer tastes.
That's a thought-provoking point. How do these traditional regions navigate those challenges while preserving what makes them so special?
It's a delicate balance. I believe the key lies in staying true to the quality, the unique terroir, and those time-tested techniques.
So even as the world changes around it, the essence of Vin Jaune remains constant.
Right.
Sauvignon grapes, the wall, long aging, and that unmistakable taste of the Jura.
Precisely. It's a reminder that some things are worth preserving, worth savoring, and worth taking the time to truly understand.
Well said, and I think we've done a pretty good job of unpacking the intricacies of Vin Jaune.
I think so too.
From its Roman origins to its complex flavor profile, its ideal pairings to its place in the world. We've covered a lot of ground,
We have.
but I have a feeling we've only scratched the surface.
There's always more to discover, to taste, to experience.
Of course.
That's the beauty of a deep dive like this. It sparks curiosity and it opens up new avenues to explore.
Exactly. For our listener out there who has been diligently taking notes on this unique wine,
Right.
what's the one thing you'd want them to take away from this Vin Jaune adventure?
I'd say the most important takeaway is this: Vin Jaune wouldn't be the extraordinary wine it is without the unique terroir of the Jura region and those centuries-old traditions.
Right.
It's a testament to the power of place-time and human dedication.
Beautifully put. I have a feeling our listener is going to be on the hunt for a bottle of Vin Jaune after this.
I hope so. It's a wine that deserves to be sought out and appreciated.
I couldn't agree more. It's definitely moved to the top of my must-try list.
Right.
You know, as we've been discussing Vin Jaune, it's clear that it's so deeply intertwined with the Jura region.
Absolutely, yeah. From the soil and climate to the unique traditions, everything about it points back to that specific place.
It makes me wonder, could you even make a true Vin Jaune somewhere else? What if you tried to replicate the process, say, in California or Australia?
That's a fascinating question.
Yeah.
That gets to the heart of what terroir really means.
Right.
You could try to mimic the steps.
Okay.
Plant Sauvignon grapes, use similar barrels, even encourage the development of the voile.
Right.
But would it truly be Vin Jaune?
I think not.
What makes you say that?
Because you can't replicate the soul of the Jura.
Okay.
You can't reproduce the exact composition of the soil, the subtle nuances of the climate, even the microbial life in the vineyards.
Right.
Those factors are what make the Jura.
Yeah.
And they're imprinted in every bottle of Vin Jaune.
So it's like trying to recreate a famous painting.
Yeah.
You might use the same colors and brushstrokes.
Right. But it wouldn't be the original.
Exactly. There's an intangible element, a synergy between the environment, the grape, and the human touch that can't be replicated.
That makes me appreciate the role of the winemakers even more. It's not just about following a recipe.
No.
It's about understanding the nuances of the Jura and working in harmony with nature.
Absolutely. The winemakers' generations of knowledge, their intuition, their connection to the land.
Right.
Those are essential ingredients in crafting authentic Vin Jaune.
It's a reminder that some things are truly irreplaceable.
Yeah.
Born from a specific place and time.
And that's what makes exploring these unique wines so captivating.
Right.
They offer a glimpse into a different world, a different way of thinking about wine.
This deep dive has definitely sparked a desire in me to experience Vin Jaune firsthand.
Yeah.
In its birthplace, to see the vineyards, meet the winemakers, and taste that connection to the Jura.
There's nothing quite like experiencing something in its true context.
Yeah.
It adds another layer of understanding and appreciation.
Well, to our listener,
Yeah,
if you ever get the chance to visit the Jura region, I highly recommend it.
it's beautiful.
Go taste the magic of Vin Jaune for yourself and see how it all comes together in that special corner of the world.
Cheers to that.
I think it's a perfect note to end on.
I agree.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the world of Vin Jaune.
It was a pleasure.
Until next time, keep on learning and exploring.